It's mailbag time here on Chat Sports. Reminder, all of our questions come from our live audience, so you should be subscribed if you want to actually get on the show. Super chat from Emil, who will be the biggest bust of the top 4 quarterbacks? Good question. Knowing that fit matters and where they end up will have a major impact, I think the quarterback with the most bust potential is probably Trey Lance. Now, again, I like Trey Lance a lot. I'm a big fan of all 4 of those quarterbacks. I assume you mean Trevor Lawrence from Clemson, Zach Wilson from BYU, Justin Fields, and Justin Fields from Ohio State, and then Trey Lance from North Dakota State. Because of the lack of sample size, because of the massive competition jump, because of some accuracy and consistency, I think Lance has the biggest bust potential. His floor or ceiling, though, is also significantly high. That's very intriguing to me if I were an NFL team. Emil Pedersen says, Tony Romo come back for the Cowboys in 2021? Nope, not going to happen. From Bam Patrol, surprise players the Vikings could draft with the first pick. Okay, so I'm going to go with, I'm ignoring edge rushers and offensive tackles. I'm going to say those guys would be like expected picks. I would say a surprise pick could be like, maybe they get wild and go with like a Mac Jones. I don't know if they would. Maybe they could go with if you're looking to move on in the near future from one of your linebackers, could Micah Parsons be a surprise? Again, I think it's unlikely, but I think surprises could potentially fit that. Well, maybe go with another receiver and use more 3 receiver sets. I'd be very surprised by that one. Not Webb's World 1. Zach Wilson equals Trubisky. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. I actually don't like that comparison, even though one of my good friends did make it as well, Thor, over at NBC. I don't see similarities. Like, Wilson's strengths and weaknesses, I think, are very different than Mitchell Trubisky's coming out. Trubisky just hung back in the pocket and got rid of the ball quickly. Zach Wilson's strength comes from making big plays downfield with his arm and bailing from clean pockets and looking ridiculous in the process. So, yes, there are concerns about Wilson. I actually don't think he's Trubisky, though. From Rohit, keep Jimmy, revamp the O-line. Trade Trent to Miami for number 3. Draft Sewell, trade McGlinchey. Trade for Ryan Ramczyk. Sign Alex Mack for cheap. Draft Tan 12th and take Josh Myers in round 2. Okay, so lot to break down here. Quickly, you can't trade Trent Williams. He's a free agent. You're not going to tag and then trade him. That's not in the cards for San Francisco. So you're not going to get Sewell. You can trade McGlinchey if you want. The Saints are not going to give up Ramczyk for that less, but Max or Tan, take Myers, that stuff all works out if, of course, they end up falling and the cost ends up being correct for those respective teams. This question right now for you guys is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. Who is your favorite NFL player right now? And we'll go current on that one. So if you get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down and get your votes in. From Charlie R., what are the top options for the Bears quarterback situation most likely? I'll tell you what, Charlie, instead of me answering that in just a very short snippet, why don't you stay tuned to our Chicago Bears channel, youtube.com/BearsNow, because Harrison Graham, he's going to break down the top options very, very soon for you. From Nicholas Pinnell, should Seattle reunite with linebacker Malcolm Smith? If you want cheap depth, sure. Smith was not bad for Cleveland, and he's kind of had a bit of a resurgence late in his career. He's going to be way cheaper than KJ Wright. So if you want to bring him in to be like your linebacker 4 or maybe even linebacker 5 and he's cheap, sure. But you're not going to play him over Bobby Wagner. You're not going to play him over Jordan Brooks. And frankly, I don't know if I want to play him over Cody Barton because I want to see what Barton can do long term for this organization. From Jamie, should the Cowboys consider Richard Sherman? I mean, short answer is yeah. I think a lot of teams should consider Sherman. It's going to come down to, does he view the Cowboys as a good fit for him? Scheme-wise, yes. Person-wise, he doesn't like Jerry Jones that much. So we'll see. And, of course, the money will be a big factor as well. All right, from Diehard Raider Fanatic, a super chat. I think Watson has a chance to Vegas. Watson knows Gruden's system. Gruden's a big fan of Watson. By the way, does Watson get to pick what team he wants? So I'll answer that last part first. Deshaun Watson does have a no-trade clause. So if it's a bad situation, he can say no. I do think at some level any spot will be an upgrade for him, so there's some flexibility there. If I'm the Raiders, I'd absolutely explore Deshaun Watson trade. but the draft pick capital is going to make it a little bit trickier for the Raiders to actually pull up to like a Jets or Dolphins or even the Niners or Bears. From Yo-Yo, or actually not Bears for that one, but anyway, potential trade for Deshaun Watson to the Panthers. 2 future first-round picks and Christian McCaffrey. I think you have to up the picks. I think even if you include number 8 overall this year, number 8, a future first in McCaffrey, I don't think is enough. I think that's a good starting point. I think you have to offer more, though, if you're Carolina. From Glenn Thornton, who could the Seahawks trade away to add more draft picks? Good question. Approaching this as if you're going to get value, you got to give up value. You're not going to be able to trade a crappy player and get a top 75 pick. So 4 names I will mention, acknowledging I don't want to trade away most of these guys, all right? Jamal Adams, I'm just going to pay him and bring down his cap hit. Jaron Reed, I might just extend him. Quandre Diggs, if you want to move Marquise Blair back to free safety, I'm at least open to it. I'd also probably extend him so I can save money that way. I would happily move Rashad Penny, but like, for example, I don't know, a Trey Flowers here, those guys are not going to bring back value for you. Those bottom of the roster guys, you're not going to get a pick. So for Seattle, because you're not rebuilding, at least you shouldn't be, I don't think moving on from a bunch of players actually makes the most sense for them. But get your votes in for me here. Spam the chat if you will. Who do you want your team to trade away? Any player you want to move on from, let me know what you guys think in the comments section. From Corey Childs, can Washington sign Cam Newton? If Washington is unable to land a bigger fish, a Deshaun Watson, maybe even a Sam Darnold, or get a quarterback in the draft, in round 1 at least, I think Cam Newton makes a lot of sense. And I think because of the familiarity, letting him compete with Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke, I'm on board with that, even if it is just the 2018, 19, whatever Panthers all over again. From T-Man, David Njoku to the Seahawks for a 3rd and a 5th. Well, Seattle has no 3rd-round pick this year. Also, I would rather just roll with Will Dissly and Colby Parkinson and take those draft picks and spend them on the offensive line, for example. From Cheater Jultex, would the Broncos be a Super Bowl contender if they can get Watson? I think so, yeah. I'm not saying they're going to be the best team in the AFC West because that's still the Chiefs, but I think they become the number 2 team, and I think they're going to at least be able to make a run at it, which is why they should go try and do it. In the end, I don't think they end up getting him, though. From Akash, if Von Miller is released, what team do you think will take a chance on him? If the off-the-field stuff is clear, which it may not be, we don't know yet, that's still going on. If the off-the-field stuff is clear, roughly 31 teams will have interest. It comes down to the cost, but if Von Miller gets cut, every team looking for a number 2 edge, a number 3 edge, even a borderline low-end number 1 edge at this stage in his NFL career coming off the injury, guess what? They're going to have interest in going after a player like Von Miller. I'm unconvinced he'll end up getting cut, though, by the Broncos. We'll see on that front as we move closer to the start of the NFL offseason. Now, if you guys want more NFL videos, hit that big red button and subscribe to Chat Sports. The link is below, youtube.com/chatsportstv. And keep an eye on that link below. It's about to change, because we got a whole bunch of NFL team channels available for you guys. So if you're a Cowboys fan, well, go subscribe to our Cowboys channel. Raiders fans, go join Mitchell Renz over at youtube.com/Raiders Report. Our Niners channel up and growing every single day. youtube.com/Niners TV. We got a Bears channel, or 49ers TV, my bad, 49ers TV. I always mix those two up. The Bears channel, youtube.com/Bears now. We're not done yet, though. Our new-ish Seahawks channel is rapidly growing, approaching 18,000 subscribers. We have an Eagles channel as well, youtube.com/Eagles now. A Chiefs channel led by Harrison Graham at Chiefs TV. Our relatively new Dolphins channel on top of that, 12.3K subs. We got my boy Micro Mike running things over on Detroit Lions Talk. That's over 12K subscribers. Producer Sam, we gave him a channel to cheer for his Broncos, youtube.com/Broncos TV, and our just launched Falcons channel as well, chatsports.com/Falcons TV. If you want a channel for your team, stay tuned. The empire is being built. It doesn't get built in a day, so just be patient. From Sports Fan, what a great username, I love it. Super Chat, who's the best guard or center that Seattle can take with their second-round pick? At center, I don't know if he'll be there. I like Landon Dickerson a lot. I think that'd be a good selection there. At guard, maybe Wyatt Davis is there. I don't know if he's going to be. I think in an ideal world, a Landon Dickerson from Alabama and a Wyatt Davis from Ohio State are your best realistic options. From Bloodshots 54, where will Tutu Atwell go? Ooh, that is the receiver, by the way, from Louisville. It is a very good receiver class again. He's a bit undersized, but he's dynamic. I think he could potentially go late day 2 if he doesn't go there. I don't see him sliding really all that far into the early parts of day 3. So if you want an undersized kind of slot receiver guy, I think it makes a lot of sense. Late day 2 or early day 3. From Prato, what round pick can the Eagles get for Ertz? If you want my honest answer, not a very good one. Because with the way his contract is set up, I think what ends up making the most sense is he ends up getting cut outright. So maybe a team gives up a late round pick. Maybe a team like the Colts comes back and makes a deal with Philadelphia. I just don't think with the way his contract is structured, he's going to fetch you much, if anything, on the trade block. From Yes Man Frank, what should the Chiefs do with Tyrann Mathieu? So, good question here. Mathieu is in the last year of his contract. And his cap hit for this upcoming season, by the way, folks, is $19.7 million. That's a lot. So you've got really two options here, if, of course, you want to bring that cap hit down. Number one, cut him. You could say $14.8 million. Or, what I would suggest, is extend him. If you were to extend Tyrann Mathieu, you could take his base salary for this year, which is about $14-ish million, make it a signing bonus. And that would take that base salary and spread it out over however long the contract is, up to 5 years. So now all of a sudden, you've set yourself up to reduce Mathieu's cap hit, bring it down to make it more palatable for this year, kick the money down the road, and retain an awesome safety. That's the move I would make if I were Kansas City. From Steven, who is a better choice for the Dolphins to help out Tua? Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, or Penei Sewell, or somebody else? I'm open to a trade down as the somebody else there. I think your offensive line probably has enough pieces. And with the way I've run these simulations before is I like the Dolphins drafts when they go receiver, then offensive lineman, or then somebody else. So I'll go with Devontae Smith. I think he fits the Dolphins offense under Tua better. He's a better separator than Jamar Chase, and I want that for my young rookie quarterback. From Charlie Douglas, should the Falcons take Penei Sewell at number 4 instead of a quarterback? If you're not going to go quarterback, I think Sewell is the logical next guy for Atlanta because the defensive prospects would fill a bigger need. They aren't worth a top 5 pick this year. That's just not how the board ended up shaking out. You could go like a Surtain or a Frye, but I think that's a bit of a reach, try and trade down instead. Sewell's not going to get past the Bengals at 5. So if you want to take Penei Sewell and then move Jake Matthews to guard or even experiment further beyond the offensive line, I'm open to that idea. But in general, I think quarterback or trade down makes the most sense for this Falcons team. So let me know in the comments section, everyone, who you want your favorite NFL team to draft. Any prospect, but that doesn't have to be in round 1. It could be a round 2 or round 3 guy that you've fallen in love with. But who do you want your favorite NFL team to take? From Antip, why does everybody mock the Packers a wide receiver in the first round? The team has bigger needs like cornerback, interior defensive linemen, and offensive tackle linebackers. So let me pull up here my own Packers draft needs. I think why a receiver makes sense is because you're trying to win right now with Aaron Rodgers, right? I think center's a big-time need for them. Linebackers certainly, but they've never invested all that much in the spot. Cornerback, I agree. And I think part of the assumption there is, hey, they would be able to fill a lot of these needs in free agency, and back end of round 1, there in theory should be some offense or receivers that make some sense for them as they move forward. From Jake, who should the Titans let go of in free agency? I'm trying to keep Jonnu Smith. I'd like to keep Corey Davis. That might not be possible. You have several linebackers who are free agents, so, cut some of those guys. Jack Crawford can leave. Desmond King, I can probably try and go cheaper there. I would probably let Jadeveon Clowney leave too. I just don't think that worked out in the end, especially if you can go get, a J.J. Watt instead, for example. From Nolan, what players do you see possibly busting in the 2021 draft class? So in general, as I take the cop-out answer to start, all of them. Every player has bust potential. If you're looking for a prospect that I'm not going to be as high on, who's going to go early, I do think Gregory Rousseau, the edge from Miami, makes sense. And I know that the production was awesome in 2019, and he's got the size you want, but the way he won at Miami, finishing up sacks, and when he won on the interior, doesn't translate very well at his size. So I got concerns. There's major upside, but despite what the sack numbers say, you're actually banking more on potential than anything proven and translatable right now. But in reality, all of them have legitimate major bust potential for this upcoming draft.